everyone, welcome back to another video in the GMAT Master series. Today we are going to talk about pronoun reference. So within pronouns there are 3-4 things tested on the GMAT: pronoun agreement, pronoun case, but we are going to speak about a reference because this is where a lot of students get confused or manage to confuse themselves. So what is pronoun reference? Just to refresh your memory, it's basically when you have pronouns used ambiguously in a sentence and you always want to avoid ambiguity. So for example, John and Jack went shopping and he fell down. The question is who fell down. He could refer to John, he could also refer to Jack. So that's an ambiguous sentence. A much better sentence is John and Jack went shopping and John fell down or Jack fell down. So it's always a good idea to avoid ambiguity in a sentence. However, do keep in mind there is nothing wrong grammatically with that sentence. It's absolutely correct. It's just ambiguous, which is avoidable but not incorrect. Look at the second sentence. The teacher asked the student to remove the battery from the phone and ship it. Again, it is ambiguous. Ship what? The phone or the battery? One is not sure. And you see, the problem will not be such sentences because in these, the pronoun just looks incorrect to you or confusing. The problem will be a sentence in which you will be convinced that the pronoun refers to this particular noun, but I may not be convinced. For instance, if you take a slightly more politically charged sentence, since we don't really claim to be politically correct, not all the time. So ever since Trump criticized Obama, he has been disliked by the people. Now, most people will immediately say he refers to Trump. How do you know that? He could also refer to Obama for all you know. I mean, there can be some crazy people actually. But on a more serious note, the he is actually ambiguous. So a much better sentence is ever since Trump criticized Obama, Trump has been disliked or Obama has been disliked. That will be the much better sentence. So the rule that I give my students is always avoid pronouns in the correct answer if you can. If you can being the keyword. So if I'm confused between two choices, one contains a noun, the other contains a pronoun, I will never go with the pronoun. If I'm looking at 5 choices, 3 of them contain pronouns, 2 of them contain a noun, I will look at the 2 with the noun first. 99% I will get the answer there. So the best rule is to avoid the pronoun. So don't go into whether it looks clear to me or whether it looks ambiguous to me. If you can avoid it, even if it looks clear to you. And that will avoid all the confusion because I unnecessarily see students obsessing over pronouns. If you can avoid it, avoid it. If you can't, if all the 5 choices contain a pronoun, then go with the one that's the least ambiguous. You can't help it. Yeah, this is very, very important. Ambiguous does not mean incorrect. All 3 sentences are grammatically fine. There can be better versions of those, less ambiguous versions, but nothing wrong with them. And to make my point, let me give you an official question that you see on the screen. Some of you who've used older OGs might have seen this question. It's an official question from one of the previous OGs. What I want you to do is pause the video, try the question, and then come back and play the video again. So without going too much into the details, if you've gone through the SC Grail or any of our previous videos, you know that between due to and because, we've absolutely categorically said never go with due to. For reasons I'm not going to go into right now, but you know them if you've gone through the book. So A and B, I'm not even bothering. I come down to C, D and E, and let's say I'm reading C. So because tourists were exhaling moisture which had raised the humidity within them to levels such that when I started reading this sentence, I stopped at them. It looked terrible to me because it looked like them is referring to tourists, whereas it is actually referring to the chambers. But it looks so ambiguous, so I immediately looked at the other choices to check if one of them removes them, rather replaces them with a noun, and I noticed that them is there in both the other remaining choices. You can't help it. So then I basically ignore it, even though it looks absolutely incorrect to me. I ignore it because pronoun reference is not really an error as such. You would basically get the answer as E if you use parallel structure, which is the best way of doing it. Fungus was growing, there's an and over here, right? Fungus was growing, so whatever is before that also has to have an ing. Stone was crystallizing and fungus was growing. See, if you did a last word split, you could have found that easily. And if you read the non-underlined part, which most people don't do. But coming back to my point, this is an official question. The pronoun is as ambiguous as it can get, but it is there in the correct answer. So don't obsess over pronoun reference. Avoid pronouns if you can. If you can't, go with whatever looks good to you. So I hope this video made some sense to you and it put some sense into you. And I will see you guys in the next video. Cheers.